Right now, a wildfire is burning in Lake County. It's about 15 miles south of Leadville. So far, it's covered about 165 acres or a quarter of a square mile on the south side of Twin Lakes near the Interlaken Historic District. Matt Renew is there this morning. We're going to check in with him in just a minute. First, though, we want to go over to Chris Bianchi right now.
Yeah, I want to get right to Chris right now because, Chris, firefighters, it's going to be a little bit cooler down there than the hot temperatures that we're feeling down here in Denver.
Exactly right. And if you're unfamiliar with the area, this is in the Twin Lakes area, Lake Chaffee counties, where we've got the Interlaken fire, which has burned about 165 acres. And what we're going to be looking at weather-wise for today, we kind of watch two main things. One, wind. Two, humidity. Higher the humidity, the more moisture you have in the atmosphere. Humidity will be fairly low for today. We're not talking bone dry, but it's going to be, unfortunately, still fairly low for today. And those winds really going to be the issue as we get to the early afternoon with some winds gusting to that 20 to maybe 25 mile an hour range. Not exceptionally windy, but still breezy enough. So I would call these overall firefighting conditions for the Interlaken fire. This is at about 10,000 feet in elevation, by the way, at Twin Lakes. I would call those firefighting conditions not great, but not the worst. So somewhere in that middle ground for today. Those winds will relax for tonight, and that will hopefully be some good news. Sounds like they made some progress overnight tonight. For today, temperatures in the mid-90s for us here in Denver. Gusty storm possible for us this afternoon. And for today, near a record for us with a high of 94, not far away from our daily record of 97 for us here in Denver. We do have an air quality alert that goes till 4 p.m. for today. This will be for ground ozone. Also want to mention that for us here into the high country, that would be Lake and Chaffee counties. We do have an air quality alert. That, of course, is for wildfire smoke up in that direction. But for Denver, good idea to try and limit those outdoor using any sort of gas-powered vehicles for this afternoon, obviously, when we're talking about that air quality alert. Most will stay dry for today. We do have an isolated, gusty, high-base storm. What that means is we could get a brief burst of gusty wind between about 2 and 6 p.m. for this afternoon. Most of us stay dry. Most of us avoid this. This is low impact, and we'll have actually some higher impact storms later on in the week. I'll have details on those coming up in my full forecast.
All right, Chris, thank you. As we mentioned, 9 News reporter Matt Renew is also live at the fire this morning.
Yeah, we heard the weather conditions from Chris. Want to go right now to Matt Renew. And Matt, what's it like out there right now?
Mark, Corey, you know, this wildfire started yesterday afternoon right around 2, and it quickly grew to more than 165 acres. Smoke could be seen all over Lake County from as far away as Leadville and Buena Vista. Hotshot crews aggressively started to attack this fire, and you can see some of the smoke back there. They got air support from above as well, which helped a lot. And then overnight, cooler temperatures in the upper 30s right now, about 40 degrees, have helped a lot. Just in the past 30 minutes, we've seen this smoke really start to push out of this area. And that's, I guess, maybe a good sign. Today, more than 100 firefighters are going to be on the front lines attacking this fire, trying to gain some sort of containment around it before temperatures start to come back up again. Again, people have already been evacuated in the area of Interlaken and County Road 25, and so hopefully they won't have to do any more evacuations, but there are people on pre-evacuation notice in the area as well. Again, more than 100 firefighters will be attacking this fire today. We'll be staying on top of this story as well to give people updates of the progress that firefighters do here and what this wildfire will be doing as the day progresses. Reporting from Lake County near Twin Lakes, I'm Matt Renew.
Matt, thank you. And of course, we are going to be following this wildfire all morning long. Remember, you can take us with you on our 9 News app. It is free to download in the Apple and Google Play stores. We do want to get over to Erica now because you're talking about 285 still being closed after that accident.
Absolutely, Corey. It is 6:03 this morning. We've been dealing with this closure along Highway 285 since yesterday afternoon. So this is video from yesterday. We know there was a semi-truck involved in the crash as well as 5 other vehicles. This was a fatal crash on Highway 285, just about 5 miles south of Aspen Park outside of Conifer. So things are still shut down. CSP, Colorado State Patrol and Golden tweeted out 6 hours ago saying that it's going to remain closed for this time. So I want to take you over to our map and talk about some ways you can get around this. Of course, we have been seeing some change in color just outside of Conifer. 285 shut down in both directions. Like I mentioned, 5 miles south of Aspen Park. So workaround options are going to be South Elk Creek Road and South Foxton Road. As far as travel goes elsewhere in the metro, we are dealing with about a 9 to 10 minute slowdown for folks on westbound I-70 for your drive between E470 and 76. And we've been dealing with delays on that westbound side of 270. There was road work at Vasquez. We were down to one lane. Things are back open in that area, but it jammed us up all the way to I-70 and 270. So I want to go ahead and show you a live look right now in that area, 270 in Vasquez. So westbound lanes are headed away from us. You can see still dealing with some morning volume there, and we're getting a little bit busier as well on that eastbound side this morning.
Erica, thank you. Today, the man accused of a deadly road rage incident is set to be arraigned. The crash involved 4 vehicles in Boulder County on Highway 287 back in May of last year. 2 people in a Camaro were driving south on Highway 287 when a driver of a Dodge truck hit the Camaro and then kept driving. The Camaro was sent spinning into oncoming traffic, hitting 2 other cars. Earl Garzinski admitted that he was involved in the accident. He's now facing 9 charges, including murder and vehicular homicide. His arraignment set to start at 8:15 today in Boulder County.
The Colorado Attorney General says the state will receive $14.3 million of the Johnson & Johnson settlement. $700 million will be split up among 43 states for the company's baby powder that the lawsuit claims was marked and sold despite being contaminated with asbestos. Colorado's $14 million share would be paid over the next 3 years. A judge still has to sign off on the settlement.
This week, Aurora City Council approved a camping ban along the I-225 corridor through Aurora and set up a dedicated court system for people who are experiencing homelessness. People living in tents along I-225 could get a trespassing ticket and have their camp cleared immediately. No more 3 days notice. City Council there in Aurora says the specialized court system that they're developing is meant to help people into shelters and get other resources.
It's a tough love approach, so we're going to be much more aggressive in terms of abatements, but we're going to be much more aggressive in terms of providing resources through a specialized problem-solving court that is called the Heart Court.
Mayor Kaufman calling it a tough love approach. People who participate in the year-long program can get their charges dropped. The city is considering expanding the camping ban beyond the I-225 corridor.
Denver City Council approved a nearly $2 million state grant for Mayor Mike Johnston's program to put 1,000 young people to work over the summer. The idea is to keep kids engaged and out of trouble. The mayor's Youth Works program will use the $1.7 million grant from the state to find summer jobs for people between the ages of 14 and 24. The city will host job fairs to match employers with employees and pay a $1,000 stipend to each young person who completes more than 100 hours of work in this program. The mayor says low-income families will get priority. The city is also offering $500,000 worth of grants for neighborhoods with especially high rates of youth violence so they can put on summer programs like sporting events or concerts. All this is happening after the city reversed plans to make cuts to summer programs to fund migrant services.
Colorado has over 3,000 sites listed on the state and national registers of historic places. Just 3 of them, though, are directly related to historic events here in the LGBTQ community. History Colorado now looking to bump that number up. Cheeseman Park, for example, was the site of Denver's first Pride event, a picnic back in 1974. A couple of years later, turned into the Pride celebrations that we see today. Cheeseman Park is already listed in the Register of Historic Places, but that's only for its community planning, not its LGBTQ history. History Colorado now working to change that.
The LGBT community, for historically, especially we're talking about earlier than 50 years, often were underground or in places that didn't necessarily advertise. So knowing what those places are really important for us to be able to capture that history.
The process to amend Cheeseman Park's designation is expected to take about a year. History Colorado hopes that it'll be official by the 2025 Pride Parade. Time is 6:08 as we get into some national headlines now. For the first time in American history, the child of a sitting U.S. president has been convicted of a federal crime. A jury found Hunter Biden guilty on all 3 of his felony charges. They stem from his purchase of and possession of a firearm while using narcotics back in 2018. Hunter Biden still faces a separate trial on federal tax charges. That's set for September, just 2 months, of course, before the November election.
The House could vote on holding Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress as soon as today. Yesterday, the House Rules Committee passed a resolution setting up a floor vote. House Republicans are moving to hold Garland in contempt for refusing to turn over audio recordings of President Joe Biden's interviews with former special counsel Robert Hur. Hur investigated Biden's handling of classified material and declined to bring charges.
Today, first graders who survived the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in 2012 will be graduating. It's an emotional moment for students graduating from Newtown High School, knowing that their classmates from the mass shooting will not be joining them on that graduation stage. 20 students and 6 educators were killed in that shooting 12 years ago.
NASA says it will look like a new star is appearing in the night sky between now and September. It's a celestial event that has been years in the making. The expected brightening event is known as a nova. A nova refers to the sudden brief explosion from a collapsed star called a white dwarf. Once the nova peaks in brightness, it will be as if a new star has appeared in the sky. This one will be visible for a few days without any equipment and a little over a week with binoculars. It will then dim and disappear from sight for another 80 years or so.
Incredible. Well, for today, temperatures in the mid-90s for us, a daily record of 97. In some jeopardy, we'll only be about 3 degrees shy of that. Highs stay eastern plains, 90s, even low 100s for us. What you're looking at on this map, about 10 to 15 degrees above average. Erica.